Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For this episode, I'm just going to show the systems for this project I've been working on. Try to kind of just show where I have been lately and why I haven't been making tutorials. I've been really busy working on my own projects and with work, so I have not had time to make videos like I want to. Um, this game that I'm working on has quite a few pretty cool systems that I'm working out, and I kind of want to kind of show through what some of these look like, including we'll start with kind of a combat system. For this combat system, I'm trying to make a really modular system that is kind of a plug and play, and you can um, go into the blueprints and kind of change what everything's going to do. So we'll look at the enemies first. With these enemies, we'll go into the blueprint. I have built out this little combat section um, that kind of controls everything that the enemies are going to do. Pretty cool little air and a montage selection system that I've come up with. So the enemies, there, a few types. We have our light enemies, our heavy enemies. We have bosses. We have long range. So what I've done is the enemy parent has the ability to kind of do any of those options, and you kind of just set what options it has by attaching the different anim montages to the section. So, for instance, in hit reactions, whenever this bee takes a light hit, it'll play this animation. If you had multiple animations that you want to cycle through for the light hit montages, you simply add more. And right now, the system, all it does is selects a random one out of these to play. I only have the one, so I'll kind of leave that how it is for now. But this kind of goes the same thing for the heavy hits. So if you had some montages you want to play that are different whenever they take a heavy hit, you would add them here. For the attacks, um, again, this asset I'm using only has one attack or two attacks, so I have one in light and one in heavy. And what this does is the system knows that light attacks happen more often and heavy attacks happen a little more rare. And those can be set actually right here. So you can say what percent you want heavy attacks to happen on this specific enemy. So try to make it pretty much plug and play with things like this. So it's pretty quick and easy to build out a new enemy for this system. Whenever the enemy actually dies, we just play through this animation, not an montage, but an animation so that it stays dead. And we can actually say how long we want it to lay there. It defaults to 3 seconds. For the movement, we can have different detection ranges, the range in which that it gives up chasing the player. We have a patrol speed, a chase speed, and then an attack range, how far it actually gets to the player before it starts attacking. We can set the long range attacks, the min and max, so it has to be within this area to attack. But if you see for this, we don't have any long range attack set, so this won't do anything for this specific enemy. For the patrol, we can say how long we want to set a min and max for how long this bee kind of hangs out in between. And then we have the patrol look montages. So if we open that, you can set a I have these since something and montages or animations that came with these assets, and all these assets I'm using come straight from the marketplace, so you probably look familiar. But if you kind of watch my enemies, they patrol. Once they get to their area, they look around looking for somebody and then find a new area to patrol to. We'll kind of go to this and we'll show the attacks. So the bee detected me. I'm still out of range. It doesn't go into the town, and I'll show those nav meshes. So as what happens is this bee, it detected me, so now it comes at me and starts attacking, and it's just going to do that light attack 75% of the time, which means 25% of the time you'll see a heavy attack, which it kind of looks like it'll do a flip whenever it does the heavy attack right there. So it's doing light attacks until it does heavy attack, and it is just random, but it has a small possibility of doing the heavy attacks. This mage is one of my long range guys, so if I come here, you see he starts doing some long range attack animations. He doesn't get closer, whereas this guy chases, and he does a couple of different attacks as well. So pretty cool modular system, pretty easy to put together, pretty easy to set up a character. All you got to do is create a quick animation blueprint and blend space for their basic straightforward movement, and then the rest is kind of plug and play as long as you have those animations. With that, I'll now show the player character. The player character, similar system, but my character does attack chaining. So with the basic attack montage, this is going to be that very first attack that's played whenever you attack. I'll show that real quick. So very first one, just a simple strike. I'll wait a little bit. That's that basic strike. So the first time you strike, it does that. Going back in here, after you do that basic strike, there's a short period where if you attack again, it starts chaining attacks. So after that first strike, we can set in our timing, we can set a ratio, and this is the ratio of the um, end of montage as it plays. So there's about a 5% window. It's not a, it definitely is more than that, and I'll show you what happens. But what happens is it enables this chain with about 5% of the animation left, and with that, after that enables the chain, you have 1 second to attack. And you can lower this to zero point 0.5 seconds, but for testing, I leave it at one. So if at the end of the anim montage, within a second, you attack again, it'll start chaining. And while you're doing successful chains, it'll choose one of these three montages that I have set to randomly do. And again, if you had more animation montages to attach here, you could add as many as you need for it to randomly cycle through, just to give your game a lot of um, random attacks so it doesn't look like it's just repeating itself. And then you set this max chain count. With this max chain count, once you hit a fifth, I have this defaulted to five. Once you hit a fifth successful chain, it'll play one of the chain finishers. These are, in my game, going to do a lot more damage once you actually get to one of these chains. So I'll kind of show what that looks like to actually chain some attacks here. So if you watch my character, I'm just going to start swinging, and now you see he's doing different animations, and there was a chain finisher. So I wait a little bit. We're back to the beginning. I'll keep chaining. There's another attack finisher, and it actually just circles right back around. So you continue to chain, and then you do attack finishers. One cool thing about this also, if you notice my character is not moving, that's because there's no enemy. I have put together kind of a soft lock and a hard lock system. So soft lock is, if you notice I'm facing away from the bee and I haven't locked onto him, but if I attack, I go towards him and I face towards him. So I'm soft locked to this B just because he was in my line of sight and I'm in combat mode. So it soft locks, and while I'm soft locked, my attacks move me towards the thing I'm locked towards. So I'm sliding towards this B as I attack. Now, if you notice I attack this way, I'm not soft locked to it anymore. So right now it's set to 60% or a 60-degree soft lock angle. And I have that in here as well where we can adjust that. So on your locking in this combat section, we have the soft lock angle threshold. If you watch, I'll make this 180. So anywhere basically around me, whatever enemy is closest is what I'll be soft locked to. So with this B now, if I come over here and I'm facing this way, I'm soft locked to that B no matter what. I can run around freely, but once I attack, I go back towards the B. He slides towards him, starts attacking towards him. So you could change the soft lock to be 180, which is all around you. So direct, as long as they're at least directly behind you, you'll soft lock to them. The other way is hard lock. So this I control by pressing G. Once I come out here within range and I press G, I'm hard locked to him. So now you see I generally face towards the B, and no matter what now, I attack towards that B. If I move over to another area and lock again, it picks the, oop, it's cycling through, so it'll actually take you out as well. But you could cycle through who you're locked to. So I was locked on the mage. Now I am locked on, I think the knight. Yep, or the demon king. So you can cycle through. If I keep pressing G, it eventually uncycles or unlocks. So pretty cool little combat system I'm building out here. We'll get this guy to play the death animation eventually. There he goes. They both died. So they play that animation, and after the time selected, they disappear. Let's lock onto this guy just to show you kind of do some little floating if you attack whenever you jump, but you head towards the target. So if he was up high, you would actually float towards him. So pretty cool little easy to use combat system. You could set your base stats right here, but this will actually be handled differently depending on what weapons you have, what level you are, things like that. So this will kind of change. The other cool thing that we've added is this slide force. So that's the while you're either soft locked or hard locked. This is the force that you head towards the enemy. So right now it's set to 600. So kind of a double running speed. Let's set this to like a 2000, and then we'll go show you how much faster that moves. So these are some stuff that you could always tweak based on level. So if you saw there, it's a lot more. You could make it that powerful if you wanted. It takes you right to the enemy if you lock and then do it. So you could always adjust that slide force. That's actually determining how fast you slide. If you can do a lot or a little. If we take it up way more, it basically teleports. So we'll go lock onto an enemy. We're locked on, and then it basically just teleports you because it's moving so fast. So maybe that's something that you control with a level, or as your level of experience goes up in the game, that slide force becomes more impactful. Maybe it's something that you can upgrade in your game. But either way, a pretty cool little combat system that I'm building out here. Let me think. There's nothing else to show here. Was there anything else in this before I move on? I have some other cool systems that I'm going to show off. Oh, the so for the enemies also. So sometimes the enemy is going to continue to face while attacking. In the case of the bee, while the bee is actually striking towards the enemy. See, he follows even during his attack, and that's kind of the behavior you would expect from a bee, maybe, because they're flying, they're easy to move. But if you watch the demon knight when he attacks, you can roll out of the way. He has a heavy attack. You want your character to be able to roll. So it's a timing thing. Once you see him kind of telegraph that he's about to attack, you can roll out of the way. And that can be set in this um, little combat section as well. That is this. Let's go. This face player while attacking. So if I set this on my demon knight, you'll see the difference in behavior. So pretty much anything that we can control of these players, we want to expose. That way you can set up all these different enemies. So now he kind of follows along as he strikes. May not be what you want for that guy. I definitely don't want the heavy hitters to follow me. So those are the ones that I turn this off for. For these also, eventually we'll have some stun animations that'll play whenever they get stunned, and if you die while the enemy kills you, they'll have little victory montages that they play through. This avoidance is something I'm working on so that the characters don't bunch up in one area and they all try to find ways around. So a lot of work still happening on this, but just kind of wanted to show it off for now, to kind of show what I've been working on. One of the other systems I'm working on is this pet system. So the pet I'm going to have, he'll be a little helper during battle. He'll detect when you're in combat and kind of start attacking as well. You see, he kind of just floats, lags behind. With the pet, you can speed him up. He's got a lot of behaviors that he can do too. You can set him to follow someone else, and I'll show off that in town. I have a whole bunch of these following some of the town folk. But with the movement, you can offset the height. You can make him his interpolation even faster. Same thing with this turning. You can make him turn faster or slower. I kind of like this slow behavior. He doesn't really need to be right there with you the whole way, and he'll have some other uses in the game, like um, moving and detecting whenever there's areas of interest or items that the player might not see. But you can change his acceleration rate, his max speed movement. The max speed movement, he doesn't move at 800. Normally, he catches up with the player. So right now he's saying, "Oh, I'm kind of falling behind," and he starts speeding up to catch up to me, and then he'll decelerate as he gets closer. This max speed movement, though, is for if this is really far away, he can say, "Wait, I'm way out of range," and he'll use that max speed to get back to me quicker. And again, it's not set super high, so that's kind of the behavior I want from it. Some other things that we're going to do with this, I wanted to interact with other pets. So as you go through town, let's go look at some other pets that we have following people. So here's my pet. But pets are going to be pretty common. They're all little dragons. And I want the pets to eventually interact with each other. So as mine comes in, if I'm not running to where the pet feels like it needs to catch up, it might go interact with some of these other pets just for some little fun. Um, so another system I want to show off is this is my cook. So I have a restaurant system and a farm system. And I'm kind of going to cut through here so you don't ruin the surprise, but we'll go out to the farm. But give the shading, I haven't, this is not set up quite yet with the correct shaders and compiled lights and things. So you get some really hard shadows right now. But this is the farm. Farm is a pretty cool little area that you will plant crops. You'll upgrade your farmer who is tending to your crops, and you'll be able to grow different ingredients and different um, kind of different rates. We're going to have some animals that you're raising, and all that's going to be ingredients for your cook. So when this guy gets back, you'll see what happens. You can kind of see him running back there. But you see the ingredients staged. Let me give it a minute, and you'll see what's going on. You go out to the road back to town. We'll see him running. This is our delivery guy that's running up here. His entire job in the village is running back and forth between the cook and the farmer. So what's going to happen is he runs over here to where the farmer has ingredients staged, and he's going to grab it and he takes it all the way back to the cook. And once it gets to the cook, that ingredient is now added to the cook's inventory, and different items are going to open up different foods that you can buy from the cook. So you basically raise your farm so that you can get different foods, which are going to give you different buffs and different attributes and stats from those. So upgrading your farm is a good way to upgrade your player. Um, Upgrading your farm will speed up all of this as well, all of the growth and the harvesting, and maybe eventually stacking more than one box at a time. Right now, one box is what you stack, and then you gotta wait, so it'll be slow. The crops right now also grow way fast, just for testing and development. So you'll have to speed up how fast you can grow crops. But let's watch the farmer. He's going to go find a crop that's ready to pick, and he picks it, packages it. The next one starts growing in. It won't be that fast. So that's another cool system I'm working on for this game, just to add a little bit to kind of what building in a way to kind of upgrade your character outside of just defeating enemies. So coming to the island village, you kind of just have normal everyday life. You got a blacksmith. Blacksmith, we're going to do a pretty cool weapon upgrade system. Um, we'll open up a chest, get some gold. We're going to have a ship that'll take you places. So we're kind of just aiming for an open world action adventure game. This is the town warrior. He'll teach you your skills and upgrade some of your combat. Different mages throughout the game that'll teach you different types of magic once you're ready for them. So we got a lot going on. Just wanted to show off some of these systems. Let me know what you guys think. You know, it's definitely not going to be a perfect game or anything. I'm not expecting much from it, but just kind of a project I started, and I've been having fun with it. I've been doing a lot of this designing, so I've designed all the level, but using assets. This is all assets from the marketplace. So also just proof that you can just go get some free assets, spend a few dollars on some cheap assets, and you can build out a decent little world. So and that's going to do it for this. I want to try to once this game launches. Um, I'm gonna start doing more tutorials on how I built out some of these systems, how I've developed the um, some of the C++ with the blueprinting. So I'm doing kind of a hybrid development for this one. So I'll get some of those tutorials out there on the channel. But again, just let me know what you think. Love to hear your feedback. Give me your thoughts, your advice. Let me know what kind of systems you want to see tutorials for first out of this, or maybe you have some ideas that you would want me to implement into this as well. So, again, in the comments, just let me know what you think.